All right, this is Randalicious. Welcome to the 89th Hexis podcast. Some of the topics included on this podcast are the Varlamore activities, Karen changes, Scurious, Game Jam 4 news, sailing, and more. This and all future Hexis podcasts are available on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. You can submit a topic in the Submit a Topic channel we have in our Hexis Discord, and we will give you a shout out if your topic is selected to be added in. Let's get going. I'm Randalicious, and I'm the leader of Hexis.
Hi, I'm AutumnElegy, Hexis OG, I guess.
I'm Hooba, and I'm still an alcoholic.
I'm 77MS, and I'm a 2-banana.
I'm Rune Artisan Blade. I like to play RuneScape.
Yo, I'm Drag, back again for the third time. Love doing the cast, so thanks again for having me.
All right, so starting with the submitted topics that I keep messing up with my keyboard on. First one we got, I got like a cable stuck under my keyboard right here, kind of pissing me off. But okay, we got submitted by Tribuo is if you could play at your prime, like your best EHP days, weeks, months, would you go back in time, or do you think the current competition is motivating enough?
Really hard one for me to say because I liked the time period I did play, like the things I did. I used to play the game quite a bit differently years ago, like doing more PVM related stuff. But seeing how, the hours people can pull now and the competition state, like I said, is a little demotivating for somebody like me. But then again, at the same time, I just wasn't there when that was being developed, so I don't really want to say that I should have been there or not.
I guess, hold on. I guess one thing, some of us could be in our prime right now. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I think the competition is it's always fun, but me personally, I kind of just try to I play for myself, kind of. I don't really look too much what other people are doing. I look at like what my friends are up to, but I don't really look too much what other people are playing or how much they're playing or whatever. Kind of just do my own thing. But I guess if I could have been playing during any time, maybe I remember I don't remember. I only started the old school RuneScape ever in 2017. But if I was at the level I was now back then, or 2017, 18, that seems like a really fun era to be playing the game, a lot and stuff like that at a high level.
Yeah, the most I ever played was in 2016, I think. And it was fun. Yeah, that was a pretty good year for skilling. We were playing neat hours. I did a mining month record back then, which has been beaten so many times now, but it was a fair amount of hours. I don't think that's really fun long term, but doing it for a month when you're in college is kind of fun. So I wouldn't really want to be playing like that consistently. But I do kind of miss the skilling environment in the first few years of OSRS, but it wasn't really sustainable and it turned into something that I didn't like as much. So yeah, we can't really go back.
I would say I'm in my prime right now.
Fuck yeah.
So I can't really say much on the past, but going good, I guess.
I don't think I'm at my prime yet. I'm warming up still. I'm pretty new to it, but see when I get there.
So I'd say I had a couple different primes. I'd say maybe the first prime would be two different primes from 2013 to 2016, or maybe that can even just kind of be considered just one prime from 2013 to 2016. And that time was a shitload of fun to play. I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with being in college at the time as well, so I had a whole lot of free time then, and yeah, you know, like, I was like ranked 2 overall and like ranked 3 or 4 EHP for like an extended period of time during that, which was really great. And then I think 17, 18, definitely down years. Then I would maybe say picked it back up in 19, but like 2021, 2020 and 2020, 2021 and 2020 were probably like another like prime, or, you know, just captured it back again. I mean, I haven't really played in any prime capacity since like getting 200 mil all, but while I was going for 200 mil all, the final like year that I had played leading up to it, between mobile hours, which were substantial, probably like 1,000, and then like I probably played like 2,400 hours, 2,500 hours on the PC, and then like 1,000 or so on mobile, and that was really fun, getting to just kind of push. So I wouldn't be able to do it now, so I don't know if I'd go back, but like I'd go back to if I had a choice between like the first few years of old school versus the last few years where I got 200 mil all, I would definitely go with the first portion. I feel like probably 2015 and 2016 were the most fun that I had playing. But next question we had is submitted by Drag is, what do you like most about Hexis, and what, if anything, has it done to benefit you as a person or a player?
I was a bit vague on the last question because I wanted to kind of tie it in with this one when I ask. I'm also just kind of curious of like more long-term people, what it has done for them, because like kind of tying back into, you know, prime times of what you've been playing now is, you know, joining Hexis has kind of made my skilling prime, I think, kind of become now, you know, to where it's like my care and like want to be more engaged in this, to whereas, you know, before it was just more aimed towards PVM. And again, I'm kind of tying back to the other question, so when I say this stuff, but I think my game knowledge would have been a little different. So I think if anything, I wish I kind of more understood skilling back then, but I don't think I would be the player I am now. So ultimately, I just think it's really helped me, you know, understand the game better and also keep a really good schedule. I also play a lot more consistently, you know, not so much like huge days, and that's always a really nice aspect, I think.
$77.
Yeah, it's definitely helped my motivation. Like, because before I was in just like a social clan, nobody really skilled in there or anything, so I didn't have anyone to talk to. Basically, just being around similar-minded people really helped me stay on track and keep motivated.
Good shit. Been in Hexes for I think I joined in like April of 2013. So it's been quite a long time. You know, growing from when I joined Hexis, I was 19, and now I'm 30. So there's been a lot of like benefits in personal growth, both as a player and as a person during that time. I think, given the position I'm in, it's given me a very unique experience that I've been able to gain over the last 10 years. I became the leader of Hexis like February, March of 2014, but I was like on the admin team for like 6 months prior to that. But I think that looking at it from more so of like a management standpoint, it's given me a whole lot of tools and resources that I've been able to pick up from management that has helped me to where I feel like it's prepared me for like supervision and management, like in a professional setting. But it's also definitely helped me with scheduling, like time management. I mean, if you also then want to look like more so as like a player, like no shot I was gonna play after 99 all. But I was having fun because of Hexis, and I still kept playing, and I still kept having fun, and further developed as a player to eventually get to the point of then getting 200 mil all. But I think that it's probably had a profound impact, more so on like the real life aspect of it, from like a management standpoint for more than 10 years.
That's pretty cool to hear, especially because like the time frame, like you said, like one thing I kind of miss, or kind of guess I wish I had, was like I've been in a couple clans as time's gone on, but nothing has felt so concrete to me. To whereas like I'd always kind of fizzle out in my other clans, not just because I wanted to be there, but just because like they weren't really doing anything. Everybody's gaming in here all the time.
Yeah, very blessed.
My turn, I guess.
So from the biggest old head to the newest noob.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm pretty new to Hexis. I haven't had that much like interaction with the people in general, but been pretty cool so far. I always enjoyed like talking to people who are like it's easier to spend like I don't know. It's easier for me to like get into the mindset of skilling like a lot of hours or whatever if you're surrounding yourself with people who do as well, which is pretty cool. And from like before that, the only really like thing I knew about Hexis was like I went and this is like years ago. I used to watch AutumnElegy's videos like 5 years ago or something, and I knew he was in there. But that's like aside from that, I'm pretty new to all this kind of stuff, so I don't really know that much about yeah, I'm too new to like have any any big thing to say on this, basically.
Yeah, I joined Hexis sometime in early 2014 when it was still an open CC. And that was like the first time that I started to get into skilling a little bit in old school. So I heard about Hexis and decided to just hang out in there. Because I was always, I guess, interested in skilling in RuneScape, but when I first started playing OSRS, I was more just like playing for nostalgia. Like I did Quest Cape and was doing like DKs and stuff. But then when I came back to the game after a break, decided I wanted to do some actual skilling. And I liked skilling, but I wasn't like an efficient skiller before that. And joining Hexis got me into efficient skilling because that's what everyone was talking about. And like it really vibed with me, I guess. It just seemed like a cool thing to do to like try to get the most XP out of your time played. So yeah, Hexis is what kicked off for me being into like EHP and efficient gameplay.
Well, I sucked before I joined Hexis, and I've been in here for a couple of years, and I still suck, but they let me stay, so it's pretty good.
A couple of the other things that I thought of was like conflict management is certainly a skill that I've been able to, which I mean, obviously I've increased on that quite a bit in the last like 7 years from a professional standpoint, but for a couple of years prior leading into it, I think that like with any group of people, you'll inevitably come across some kind of conflict, and there's certainly been conflict in Hexis that I've had to resolve over the years, and it's just another thing, just continuous improvement as a person, like conflict management, like scheduling, whether it be for like competitions, meetings, organization, like things like putting together like the document for the podcast or any like staff meetings that we have. Gotten to be a good interviewer because which I interview people now like for my job, like not just for like information gathering, but like for a promotion or for hiring someone to something. So that was something that I had been doing prior, like with Hexis. Some people may know of the the very good picture of it was Let me see if I can find it real fucking quick because I had just recently found it. Ah, damn, that wasn't it wasn't the one where we were all in suits, but like we had one with like me, Trick, Ginge, I think Zoid, and we like interviewed like Jiklum and Bront, and we were like all in suits. So like that was funny, but like, resting under that was like the professionalism of an interview for a position or a promotion, and it certainly helped with forming relationships with other people as well, recruiting, bring out competitiveness and creativity. Done a lot, really. I mean, like outside of work, it's been what I've spent the most time on in the last 10 years. So it's definitely had a big influence on me as an individual.
Nice. I'm actually pretty glad I asked that because that was a little more than I was expecting for everybody. I just really enjoy like hearing what people have to say, especially like long-term people. So, if that question ever comes up again, I'm just looking forward to hear what anybody else has to say. Cheers.
Yeah, like from and then like real quick, just on the final, like from the player perspective, like when I had joined, like I was I was going for max at the time, and I like that was gonna be my goal was to max, and I mean it didn't really change in terms of like pre-maxing, other than that like. Like we're in a very great time where information is much more easily obtained, methods are more well known. There was a lot of it was definitely some caveman like days back then. So being able to be around a great resourceful group of people to help with like planning out routes to maxing was great to be around. So that was good.
Yeah, especially back in the day, I can only imagine.
Yeah, dude, like the old like Skilling Cup videos are like hilarious to watch nowadays.
Dude, like
they're so good.
That was the best that it that was what the game had to offer at the time. It was really
like the best of the best. Yeah,
it was really something. All right, so we got final like submission here by Faye Poppy is how did you get into skilling? What's your favorite thing about it, and do you enjoy any other aspects of the game? So he hit us with a 3-in-1.
Oh boy. Not even good at one question. How did I don't know really how I got into skilling. I just wasn't good at anything else. Really not even that good at skilling, but it's something that I just stuck with, I guess. Favorite thing about it? Well, just the only thing I'm not good at, but it's the only thing I'm good at. And do I enjoy any other aspects of the game? I don't know. When I get bored of skilling, sometimes I'll PVM, but usually doesn't last for too long because I suck at that too. I always find myself back skilling.
How's your PvP been going?
Haven't really been doing much of that because I'm just trying to finish mining, but when I'm done mining, I will be terrorizing the wilderness probably for a while.
Oh, nice. I'll be joining you. That'll be fun.
Sounds good. But I guess just the people I surrounded myself with helped a lot with skilling. Most of the people I speak to every day are skillers, so it worked out pretty good.
I think I was into skilling since I was a kid. What were you saying, Randy?
Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like within the first like year or two that I started playing, I think I always thought skilling was cool. I don't know, something about just getting levels up and like flexing your skills and stuff like that just seemed cool to me. So like I started going for 99s when I was still like pretty young. And I didn't really play efficiently for a long time, but I always liked skilling. I just thought that combat was kind of boring and like I didn't really like going for RNG stuff as much. And I've never really enjoyed anything as much as skilling in RS, but stuff like Inferno is pretty fun, like more complex, challenging PVM, stuff like that. I think it makes you better at the game, and you can transfer some of that knowledge back to the skilling. But yeah, like long-term grinding, I don't think I would really enjoy anything other than skilling. Like going for pets and stuff is just doesn't seem fun.
Not when you're going pretty dry, man. RNG goals.
Yeah, it's
Say
just
RNG
like
goals are the worst.
yeah, the idea of just like playing a grind-based game, but then just being completely subject to RNG sounds horrible.
My turn, right?
Yep.
Okay. How did I get into? I remember I was like about to quit the game. I just like I didn't know very much about anything about the game. I was just doing like Slayer, and I didn't like it at all. So I was gonna quit the game, and then I found out about like 3-tick fishing. That's how I first got into skilling. I really liked that method. My favorite thing about it, just like getting into a flow state, finding something good I can just like get into, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I like a little bit of PVM. It's not too much though. It's not as good as skilling.
I got into skilling, I don't know, like 2021, I want to say. I think I maxed in like 2020 after like, cause I was just like a PVMer for most of the time I was playing the game. I started playing in like 2017, I think like 2017. And, you know, I was kind of like a normie. All I really did was like PVM, raids, stuff like that. And when I wasn't raiding, I would like AFK skill, and then I maxed at some point. But up until like 2021, I never really considered skilling like as like a, you know, the main thing I would do while playing the game or like efficiently or anything like that. And then I did like thieving or something, and then I didn't do anything for like a year. Basically, I always wanted to do more rune crafting because I enjoyed lavas a lot. And I don't know, and doing rune crafting is kind of what got me like more into skilling in general. I really enjoyed that grind. Like looking back at it, I could have done it like a lot better or whatever, but I don't really care that much. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed like the friends I made and stuff, and a lot of people in the community are pretty cool. My favorite thing about it, I don't know. Nowadays I kind of just like, I don't know. I like playing RuneScape, which is like an MMO in like a kind of single player kind of way, which is kind of maybe kind of weird. But a lot of people, they do raids or are in some big like PVM clan or something, and they hang out with people in game and they raid. I've always kind of been someone first to like solo kind of content. I've always been like a very solo oriented kind of player, and yeah, I guess that's why that's my favorite thing about it. And yeah, I used to do a lot of PVM and PvP back in the day, but I don't do that much anymore.
And I say I got like into skilling, like right when I started, because when I started playing, it was because I saw a family member of mine who was playing, and my goal was to be better than them, and I didn't know how that could actually be accomplished other than like looking at the high scores and seeing, because you know, we're talking like 2006 or so. Like you could compare on the high scores like player to player, and it would show you like skill by skill who's better in what. And so like after I had started playing and thought, all right, like this game's fun. I like made it a goal to be better than my family member in every single skill, or like that than they were. So that's kind of where the getting into skilling came from. And yeah, so I guess like just from a competitive aspect, I wanted to be better, and that was the only way I knew how you could be better than someone at the game at the time. I'd say my favorite thing about it, how relaxing it is. You know, like I play other games now, certainly much more so than I do RuneScape. But like an example I'll bring up is I was playing Doom Eternal, and there's the DLC for it. It's I don't know what the name of it is, but it was very, very like it was almost like a headache inducing because of how it was like it's called the Ancient Gods part 1. So yeah, or part 2 I think was part 1 was the hard one. But it was like so fucking, like, the music was intense, the gameplay was intense, it was very fast paced, whereas like, you know, mining a rock is not fast paced comparatively, or hunting a chin is not fast paced. So it's very relaxing. And I like, from when I used to be pretty competitive in playing Madden, which is a American football video game. I used to be like top 50 or top 100 on Madden on the Xbox for like 3 years in a row before I started playing old school RuneScape, like when that came out. And that was a very competitive game. That was a very frustrating game, very stressful. And I just didn't find it to be fun at a certain point. But like playing RuneScape, you don't really get stressed. You don't get mad or anything like that. Like, or I should say, skilling wise. So it's very relaxing. So I think it's very good from a mental standpoint. Do I enjoy any other aspects of the game? Nowhere near as much. You know, like if sailing would have failed a pull, I may have retired, and like they were like, "Yep, we're never coming out with another skill ever." I may have retired. I will be after sailing, but yeah, you know, like the last like 4 pets that I've gotten, I've gone like almost twice the drop rate on them. RNG goals are not fun, so I won't be going for all pets or anything like that.
I have always kind of liked skilling. I think kind of what got me into it is more so I just don't really enjoy the AFK aspect of the game too much. I mean, if I do, it's just I'm usually doing something else, so it's hard for me to say I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. But like high intensity skilling, I've always just liked clicking a lot and paying attention. It's fun, like whether it's 3-tick, 4G, whatever you're doing. Um, I just like being interactive with whatever I'm doing. If I'm sitting down to play at my computer, I want to be doing something, unless like I'm up out doing something that I'll AFK. But anyway, my favorite thing about it though is like unlike PVM, I think it offers an opportunity to be in a flow state for a much longer period of time. And I actually didn't think about this until Randy just said it, but the anger too, actually, because I mean, dude, you go like doing some raids or like all day and then like you can't hit a hammer spec on Tecton or something like that. I mean, little shit like that will just at least for me, man, I've lost headsets and shit like that. So I don't know, man, like it's just a whole different mindset to be in skilling, which is really nice too. I do, however, love the entire rest of the game, though. And, with the little bit of anger thing that I just said there, I think skilling kind of allows me to not get so frustrated with some of those things because, like, I can still PVM and I still like doing, like, Inferno and stuff like that, but I don't feel like I'm stuck into doing that one specific thing. My main goal is skilling now, so I can branch off to do the things I enjoy if I want to on my own leisure.
Sounds good. All right, so one of the big thing that's come out has been Leagues. Oh shit! Just punched my mic. Has been Leagues 4. A lot of people have been participating in this. Go to Twitch. It's gonna be #1, or like the top probably 20 people streaming are gonna be doing, flavor of the month. All right, it's a game mode, temporary, has a bunch of cracked content. Have you participated in Leagues at all? Have you watched any content creators do it? And what do you think about Leagues with a little bit of time evaluating how it's been out so far?
I played for like just over a week, and I had fun for that week, but it got pretty boring to me. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of that shit.
What'd you do in it?
I don't really even know, honestly. Tasks and shit, but like I didn't really have a goal to do it. I didn't even get to like PVM or anything.
Oh damn.
But like I noticed like after playing it, I like because you get Silverhawk boots in it. So when I like got annoyed of it and just gave up, I was playing on my alt and I was like, where the fuck are my agility drops? So I was just like expecting it to transfer back to the main game.
Something related to that coming up next.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun, I guess, but for me, it's not worth sacrificing playing like on my alt or like wasting time for something that just gives me nothing in return, I guess. When you can just like buy all the rewards, I'm pretty sure as well. So it doesn't really matter too much to me anyways. Waste of time.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever play a league unless I just had nothing to do on another account and wanted something to do, I guess. Like, it kind of makes sense for people who have 200 mil all or whatever. But yeah, for me, like, I would just so much rather have more XP on the accounts that I'm playing than play something that's just going to get deleted. But it's kind of fun. I've been watching JCW. I don't care at all about watching people do like PBM or whatever, but watching the different skilling methods is kind of just funny to watch. Like just one-shotting every single Slayer monster and like insta-planting, farming patches and stuff.
Yeah, it is a very odd and unique way, like of a game mode, I should say. And one of the things that is appealing is just it's really a completely different game. Like you could like put like the different graphics on, you know, like with like one of the RuneLite plugins, and then play leagues, and it would probably feel and play and look like an entirely different game than RuneScape. A lot of people love it. I mean, I don't though. It's not something that interests me. I've talked about it in the past, just not interested in the temporary stuff. But I like that the community enjoys it, and yeah, even with 200 mil all, wouldn't consider doing it.
I have not participated in leagues, but I did. Yeah, I'm glad it's happening now. Just lots of content around it to watch, whether it be people going for 200 mil all in it or just whatever it may be.
I haven't really played leagues at all, ever. I never played any. I played a little bit of the amendment in the past, but I never really play the temporary game modes or anything like that ever, really. I have a couple friends who do, and like it looks fun or whatever, but I've never really been interested. I think the kits are like cool. The rewards it's cool, like cosmetic stuff, I guess, and it's like an incentive for people, maybe noobs or something, to play the game and like sell this stuff and get money, I guess. But aside from that, I don't know. I've never really been interested.
I've seen some of my casual, like real life friends who don't really play RuneScape. They've started playing just to play leagues.
Yeah. I think it's a really good thing actually to introduce people to, I mean, whether you're a new player or like somebody that just wants to dip their toes into some new content. You know, if you can get to Zuck, let's just call it, in half the time, you know, and even if you're not doing it correctly, just having the experience and the feel and the environments of some of these areas, I think can be a lot more beneficial than a lot of people realize. So I really like that, you know, not so much for myself, but, you know, for other people's aspects of the game. But yeah, I played all 4 of them actually, and I'm planning on speedrunning a Dragon Trophy in about a week here on one of my accounts. I say I love it so much just because every single league, it always starts where I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to. And then I will play just the tiniest bit and watch it. And it always ends up being an amazing time. So I don't know. I think I just kind of started talking shit about this league a little bit at first, and with it being kind of a rerun, but ultimately, I don't think I've ever seen a bad league so far. Oh, and sorry, one other thing I would like to add is the only thing I don't really like about it though is I think it's a great opportunity to like introduce people to new content, but I think people get too like people feel too much that the stuff in League should be in the game now. Instead of it being like a test,
More
it's
on that
more of
next.
like it being yeah, right, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, so that's how I feel about leagues. I think it's great ultimately though.
Yeah, so like on kind of the beta testing aspect of it, Ruinous Prayers are something that are part of leagues. These previously passed a poll. They're really bad content, and Jagex decided not to release it in the best interest of the game, even though it passed a poll. So do you think, now that people have been using them and playing them on leagues, do you think we see a repoll of these with people getting used to them in this cracked game mode?
I don't know. I have no like. I don't know. I'll just say it's beyond me how Jagex like chooses whether or not to pull stuff and how all that system works. I just I remember when it was first pulled, I read about it a little bit. It seemed kind of lame. I didn't like the idea. It's like a cool way of them to recycle, something they worked on and put it on League as like a little optional thing you can select as like a relic. I think it's a good way to like use, well, like not to waste the resources, I guess, that they put in there, but I don't think. I mean, at least I hope that we don't have a repull of those prayers because they were kind of lame in my opinion.
Actually, I was really against them at first, and for the most part, I still am. If they came into the game, I wouldn't really care too much at this point. I think they're still pretty busted in the state they're in. Uh, Actually, maybe not as much. I think that's the thing is like after seeing people use them more, they're not as useful and as easy to use as I think some people were thinking. Um, I think with some tweaking, it might not be a bad addition to the game. But again, I mean, it is definitely a buff. Um, I don't know. It's just really hard for me. I'm very much trying to like go with the game progressing and stuff anymore now, and I mean, it is fun. I just feel like the current team, and I've said this all the time, but it's just really hard to trust them with their ideas and their balancing. I don't know. I just don't think that they're as bad though as people were thinking, but they are still in need of some changing if they were to come into the main game.
I don't really know anything about these, honestly. I didn't follow the development. I guess they did seem OP, but I didn't look that closely. It kind of isn't surprising that they threw them in the leagues because it's something that they spend a lot of time on, and it seems like they have a hard time letting go of stuff when it doesn't pass. Or
it
I don't even know.
It passed. They actually made a smart move and said, "You know what? You guys fucked up. We aren't putting this in the game."
Man,
Like,
that's crazy.
It passed a poll, and the mod said, "Nah, we've decided not to."
Yeah, that's insane.
The poll system, like, what is the poll system doing, man?
Oh man,
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another topic, but
Yeah. So with it, yeah, I think we will get it to see it pulled. One of the things that we had before was like Dragon Claws and some bullshit years ago, and I said they will pull Dragon Claws, and then like 3 months later, Dragon Claws got pulled and were put in the game. So yeah, like I think that they will do another poll on this. Maybe they'll do some revisions to it, but I think that they probably fit perfectly in a game mode like this, especially if they make league. Like what they should be doing is making leagues a yearly thing, and yeah, put them in leagues and let that be their final resting place. Don't let them touch the main game. I think they'll certainly revise it and look at it though.
Yeah, I don't think they belong in the main game, but I have a feeling that they'll get added in some way, somewhere down the line, but who knows? I really trust Jagex to do the right thing half the time, so I would expect to see them in the future, or some other stupid prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're gonna at least like try to revise them. If it's already past the poll, then we're just
I don't-
gonna try and balance it.
How wild would
Get
it
it.
be if they just added it and said, you know what, you guys voted
Fuck
on
you.
it? Like, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Like they said, like, so when they said no, we're not adding this in. Like it passed the poll. They could they just say, you know what, we've actually decided that we were wrong by thinking you were wrong. They've been added into the game. Just like that, just drop it. That'd be fucking wild.
That would be a Jagex thing to do.
I don't think they would. That there's no way that they wouldn't like revisit it before like repolling it or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it would be fucking wild if they just dropped it.
I mean, dude, like the fact that they like it passed the poll and they spend so much like, I mean, they have a lot of J mods. They have too many J mods, but they spend resources working on it, and then they're like, nah, never mind. That to me is like crazy, because as far as I know, that's like the first time in a while that kind of stuff's happened, where they like made a whole thing, they pulled it, like actually never mind. Like I don't think it's happened too often in the past.
I mean, there's been things that have passed a poll in the past and never came out, but
Yeah, like the security of the accounts and stuff.
well, yeah. Also, the mini game reward shop never came out. It passed a poll in 2013 or 2014. They just said, we don't have enough content. We're just never gonna do this. But that is a little bit different than this passed a poll. They had the beta testing. And they said, we actually fucked up. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
Like that decision that they made was unique.
Like real quick back on the powers, like I agree with y'all for the most part, but I think there's like a specific couple prayers, and like I can't remember the names of them, and like maybe after I play leagues, like maybe next cast I'll be able to talk about it a little easier, but I think there's like a couple specific prayers that are actually very overpowered compared to the other ones. So again, I mean, I don't necessarily want to see these enter the game, but if they did, I'm just saying, like with a little bit of revising, I don't think it would be as detrimental. And like, some of the prayers that they do have on there that aren't as powerful are kind of cool, in my opinion, just from a PVM aspect.
The eating delay one is crazy, because you do like the 2.5 tick or barb fishing, right?
Yeah, see, like shit
That
like
looks
that
crazy.
is like, I don't even think they don't even realize they're doing that shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
is that going to be good? Then we need to revise that later. That's a great example, actually.
But also like PvP, I feel like those prayers were like, I mean, most of the stuff in the game nowadays is like not made with PvP in mind. I feel like, because like those prayers would, I mean, from what I've seen, would like change PvP entirely. There'd be no reason to ever use the old spellbook, and the new one would just be like, it would break the entire like meta. So
Yeah, PvP definitely. Again, I
I
don't
don't know.
like PvP being the same thing, but like definitely would need some revising, because like I love PvP. I'm not trying to see that get changed either, but I don't know. I just like and trying to see like what the game can do.
Yeah.
I hate being like somebody that's like I like a lot of the old methods and I want them to stay, but like some of the stuff, it's like I don't want to see it sit completely stagnant.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do see that there's like stuff needs to change for people to like keep interested in the game, but you don't have to like change the entire foundation of like, everything. Like there's like ways to go about it.
Sometimes it's just weird talking about this with you, because like I feel like even like a couple casts ago, Like, not that my opinion's different, but like just hearing me talk how I am now is kind of weird because I can definitely tell it's like not my opinion changing, but I'm just like trying to have an open mind, you know? It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to some Game Jam stuff. This is what they came out with a little bit ago. So yeah, Game Jam 4 overview. So gonna be a little bit of talking here. So they wanted to make it clear that all these projects are just concepts that are not guaranteed to enter the game. There's a shit ton of content that talk about this, but we're really only going to discuss some of the more impactful and interesting topics. So a couple things we're going to be talking about initially is going to be in regards to the sailing. So lighthouses are proposed to be part of sailing to help navigate the waters. They also said that lighthouse, and by the way, open up that fucking link there. Look at the GIF for the lighthouse thing. They also said that the lighthouses could expand the system for different kinds of content, like puzzling quest sections. The GIF that I have attached looks so primitive, it's hard to really have a good understanding of what's going on. Sailing islands.
What am I looking at?
I think it's like the interface.
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I think what they're showing is like the GUI, and then like you're supposed to be on the ship, and it like responds to where you are on the sea or something. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's something.
Sailing islands and sailing dungeons are one of the pitches, of the pitches includes a crab isle with a giant crab boss, and defeating it will give a crab meat. But like, it's a sailing island.
Nice.
I don't know. They don't mention anything about how useful that food would be. I don't know, pretty limited information on that. And they have 4 quests planned for release revolving around sailing. So all that is just kind of sailing related stuff. What do you think about the initial previews of content surrounding sailing?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I don't know. That looks really, really scuffed. I really hope that they, like, with Forestry, they said they were gonna do a beta. It feels like they said that twice. They really need to do it for sailing.
They said they were, so we can only hope.
I really hope so. It looks really scuffed, though. I don't have much faith.
Yeah, I mean, it's too big of an update to not have a beta for, and I hope that they still follow through with their plans on doing that. You know, initially, 4 months ago, Kieran had talked about there potentially being a fucking beta for the skill before the end of the fucking year, and we're looking at crap like that in the GIF. Sailing's a long way away from being in any kind of presentable state, and I think that it is imperative that once they get it to a point to where they think that it's worthy of showing off, that there is a full-on beta for it. And I'd say looking at this makes me pretty concerned. I didn't look at this and some of the things that they're doing with like positive feelings walking away from it.
I mean, I don't know about the GIF. It doesn't. I just don't know why they would show it, because it just seems like something work in progress. I don't know why they would even link that shit in the GIF. It's so weird.
It's so primitive, really.
I mean, I'm sure it's like a whatever, but like I don't know why you would link that as like to show off to
Looks straight out of a private server.
Yeah, legit. Yeah.
Yeah. And the lighthouse thing, it's just like, it looks like one of the from like the Clan Wars things. If anyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they need to do a beta for this skill for sure. I don't know. I have little faith, but
I'll say this. I do like that they're including quests. I'll give them that. I like the idea of quests.
Yeah, I think that would be good for the release.
So I'm not gonna just sit here and shit on everything. Like there are some good aspects of it. Yeah, I think having the quests planned to revolve around sailing is good. That was something that they should have done with Zaya, didn't do, and then eventually came out with years afterwards. Zaya would have been so awesome had that. I mean, I think Zaya's like, had they dropped Zaya how it is right now back when it came out, that'd be fucking fantastic. But yeah, like they don't need to rush this. They know but they don't have their own deadline set. So yeah, if they can look towards getting a beta, and I like the idea. I like the idea of quests quite a bit. I don't know. It would be next.
That was in me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All of this seems like reasonable and good content for sailing, but it's just like not that much information yet. And I think I just don't really care that much until we know what the skilling loop is going to be like and what the experience of training the skill will be. Like, I think all this stuff is good for them to think about, but it's not really something that I'm that concerned about yet, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's just really hard to be excited about, like, nothing. Quite frankly, I mean, I don't even really know what they're trying to really show off here. It's like everything's very incomplete, and I think 77 MS pretty much said it pretty good. It's pretty scuffed. It's pretty much the only word that describes it so far, and I hope they do a beta. Because my hopes are very low on this one.
Fuck sailing.
Enough said. There you go.
All right. Well, you're kind of answering the next question there a little bit. So we'll keep it to sailing related, but only for the new podcast appearances. Of the 3 skills that the team moved forward with on a poll of sailing, shamanism, and taming, which one of those did you like best, or did you dislike them all?
I would say that I disliked them all, but if I had to pick one, I would have picked shamanism.
Okay.
I think.
That's the one with the little guys, right? Like the little animals or whatever.
No, that was the taming.
Sorry. Yeah. Dude, I already forgot what the fuck the other ones were. No. But yeah. I mean, me personally, I not only did all those ideas kind of seem lame to me, I don't really see the point of Same with warding. Like, if you guys remember warding, like from years ago,
yeah.
of course you do. I have nothing against the idea of adding new contents, but you could just do it in a way to not upset like a lot of players. And people always say, "Oh, but you high level guys are just crying about a new skill or whatever." But there's no downside to adding, I don't know, sailing as like or even warding back then. You could have added warding as like a part of a new crafting like method or a new way of crafting. Same thing with sailing. You could have made it like a new like hunter or fishing expansion or something, and that would have been completely fine. They could make it into a way where if it's like an absolute piece of shit content that no one wants to do, it's whatever, it can just die in silence. But if they add a new skill, even if it's a good skill, people are just going to be upset because people just don't want a new skill, and no matter how good the skill is, they'll probably won't care. They could just do whatever they want to do with sailing, and like an expansion or like a mini game, like tied into another skill, and no one would be even slightly as upset, I think. But I don't know. I just don't have the highest hopes. I don't have much trust in Jax when it comes to releasing new content. Anything in the last like 3 or 4 years has been pretty mid. I remember the last update I was actually pretty hyped for or enjoyed was Nightmare, the normal one. Like that was the last, like the newest update that I actually enjoyed. The Inquisitor armor was kind of cool because it was like a side grade. I guess Virtus was kind of cool too, but they also added the new rings and shit, which made it kind of pointless. I mean, those were straight upgrades, but I just haven't really been a fan of anything they've made in like the last like 3 years or so. So I don't have any trust in any skill they want to make. I would just prefer them to like make a mini game or working into an existing skill as a new method, because there's a bunch of skills in a game that people would say need work or need new methods or need to be made more fun or whatever, and I'm sure, I don't know, that could work better than a new skill.
Okay. What did you guys end up thinking about sailing, and how did you vote in the final lock-in poll?
When was that again?
August.
August. I honestly don't think I voted. I must have forgot. I think I was just doing Slayer and didn't care. My attitude with like new updates is I kind of just cope and pretend that they don't exist until they do, and then I read what happened on like the update day. But I might have voted or something. I just forgot. I don't remember. I feel like I don't. I feel like I don't make a difference when it comes to
every vote counts.
I mean, I guess I honestly can't remember if I voted or not, but regardless of whether or not I did, I feel as if the voting system is kind of stupid the way it is now, anyways. So it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But if I did vote, I would have voted no. But I honestly don't remember if I even bothered.
Yeah, I voted no.
On one
I
account,
don't know. I'm
10,
not a big fan
300.
of selling. I think I voted on my alt too, but I can't remember.
Okay. So, do you think had they not lowered the passing percentage from 75 to 70, that sailing could have eventually passed with refinement? So like it got 71.9% while it was hidden as the 6th question in the middle of a poll where every other answer got more than 90%. Do you think it would have eventually been able to have gotten 75%?
Yes, definitely. I think people are willing to vote yes for just about anything, and I mean, it isn't looking the best right now, and I'm sure if people like see how sailing is looking right now, they wouldn't have voted for it. But I think if after like a year from now, they'll have it looking quite presentable, and I think that's something people would vote yes for.
I mean, I think the vast majority of people who play this game and vote are just like I don't know. I think many people have like an attitude of like, why not just add more content to the game? There's no negatives to having more stuff in the game, which I understand in a way, but I never really agreed with. I think it would just pass eventually. Like the more like it like all comes down to like the marketing and how and like the advertise. I mean, what's it called? Like how they like present it. If they just pitch it like really well, they could make fucking anything pass. Not gonna lie, they could have said anything and it would have passed if they just pitched it properly. Because everyone's just such like I don't know, everyone's just like so overly, I don't know, that they want new content or shit like that. But I feel like it doesn't. There's no way. Because like even if you don't like the idea of sailing, it's definitely like, I don't know if exciting is the right word, but it's like it's a big thing. It's a what, sorry?
Just interesting. I mean, it's gonna be cool to watch, to play. I think lots of people are gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big change. You know, the game's gonna have a lot of new like people coming back, people playing for the first time, yada yada. I'm sure it's like a positive thing for the game in the short and even long run, maybe. But I don't know. I don't think there's a way it would have ever failed if they, because like they would have just pulled it again and again until it passed. I feel like, or they would have just stopped asking and just made it into the game.
Okay. So moving back to the game jam stuff here is intensive skilling is a section on there, and they state intensive skilling is for mid to high level players. Skilling is seen as an end, a grind to complete before you can access the most fun parts of the game. Our most elaborate and engaging mechanics are typically reserved for PvM combat, but this game jam team sought to change that. They said they are focused on creating an accessible method of tick manipulation. And just in case this is great or not, this is kind of being headed by Mod Rice. But so they're looking at doing some more tick manipulation stuff. What skill would you like to see get this new high intensive tick manipulation skilling method?
Okay, I've never heard of that mod before.
No, I mean there's so many of them. There's like
Yeah, there's like 50 of them or some shit.
it's
I don't
like
know.
it's 73 plus.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm not sure what they would. I feel like they would end up accidentally kind of destroying a skill if they tried to add tick manipulation to it on purpose. So if they do it, I hope it's to a skill that isn't very good to begin with, like fire making or something.
But what do you want to see?
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I have any faith in them doing anything like that. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched like any J mods on stream, like watching them play the game. They all fucking suck. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
We shouldn't be.
I don't know
we shouldn't be like. What skill? Not fuck them. Like the answer shouldn't be fuck the mods. My question is what skill?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I don't know. I don't know if any skill needs it. I think skilling, well, I wouldn't say it's in the greatest spot, but it's doing all right now.
See, in the nicest way, though, he's kind of right, though, because, like, how can you expect people that don't understand how to play at a high intensity level to produce high level content?
I mean, I don't know if any of the J mods are able to like perfectly tick manipulate and get like 1-to-1 EHP on. I don't think they have one person that can do that for every skill.
They need to have a stream with all of them.
They have very good PvMers. They have very good PvPers. I don't know if they have a, one of us when it comes to like skilling ability on the
Degenerate.
I know.
That's another way of putting it.
Yeah.
They need somebody with understanding. It's like they have, I'm sure, people that could have the skill to do these things that we're doing, but it's like to actually want to and have the understanding is a completely different story.
Yeah, and to like care as well, because it could like anyone could just like do any kind of skilling, but like I feel like doing it and like actually giving a fuck is something completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of them necessarily need one, but like looking at the skills, like thieving.
I mean, I would 100% agree, but I don't know if you saw what's been happening with the scork shit recently. Like that's being like, I don't know, like thieving definitely was one of the like most boring, like stupid. I mean, I don't know, like it's just like a very limited skill in terms of what you can actually do. There's pretty much pyramid plunder and pickpocketing, and that was about it. And now like squirking always was a thing. But like with it being broken, once you get past a certain amount of people just do that shit now. So like looking at it from the eyes of like a J mod, I guess thieving right now is probably in like a fine spot. Maybe like farming or something. I think farming is like pretty lame in general, especially the early like couple levels seem pretty lame. I don't know. Maybe like con. I don't know.
Remove that skill.
Construction's a perfect skill. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome skill.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to
I
touch.
love construction now. I am right there with you, Randy. That skill's beast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like I'm trying to look at it as like the perspective from like people in charge. Like I don't know. I know people don't enjoy doing construction. Maybe people wouldn't enjoy having like faster method.
Last week.
Oh. I don't know. I think all the greatest like skilling methods in the game are stuff that's been at least partly like done not the way it was meant to be. Like
there's a question about that. There's a question about that.
Oh, my bad. I'll just wait then.
The next question.
Oh,
Yeah, this is an interesting thing to see. It was sort of disappointing to see that sentence that they wrote about how skilling is seen as a means to an end for most players, which is like sort of true, but it also is very dismissive of the skilling community.
It is.
Of people who are dedicated to and focused on skilling, and that's the main reason they play the game. It's the minority of the players, but it's still like a decent amount of people, and I feel like we consistently get
It's the people who play the game more than anyone else.
Yeah, that's definitely
Like
true.
we're a smaller base, but we play it more than anyone
Yeah.
else, and it's a big fuck you to us all.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see a little bit more respect from Jagex and just the player base in general. So it's kind of funny that they're talking about intensive skilling because they've talked about stuff like this before, and then we got like they said that ZRC was going to be high APM.
Yeah.
So this could result in anything from 5-minute AFK to tick manipulation. Like who knows what this is actually going to mean? And the idea of the JMods developing something akin to tick manipulation intentionally is also really funny because I just don't think any of them have actually done significant tick manipulation. So it'd be funny to see them like testing that. Maybe they would end up learning more about the game and not releasing such like broken content.
200 IQ strat.
As far as actual skills that I would choose, I don't think I really want them to change existing tick manipulation for gathering skills because I think it's pretty fun how it is. But there are some skills that I just think are really boring, like crafting, herb lore, prayer, fire making. Thieving also isn't great. Pyramid plunder is like okay, but that's about it. So like all of those skills are just pretty much horrifically boring unless you are like multi-skilling them. So anything to those skills I don't care at all, really. Though like something like Wintertide was bad, but it would be cool to see like higher APM options for those that are either better XP per hour or maybe like profitable but lower XP or something like that.
I'll be vague on this just because a lot of my answer is going to be kind of tied into the next question, but I ideally wouldn't really like to see them change anything. If I could maybe take a quick guess, maybe smithing. Giant's Foundry kind of sucks, and as much as I like Blast Furnace, it would be nice if maybe there was another alternative that was, again, with the same intensity. Not saying that we need better XP rates for lower intensity, but that would be, I guess, interesting to see.
Yeah, actually, on that note, I forgot to mention this, but for the sake of my free-to-play account, being able to tick manipulate at the furnace would be so nice because right now, skills that use the furnace,
Anvil
you just are
or
forced to
furnace?
AFK. Furnace mainly. Like, Anvil is already sort of fast, like when you're making plate bodies. It's so few in an inventory, but like doing an entire inventory of silver bars and then doing an entire inventory of tiaras after that, you're just full AFK for like over a minute. I think maybe
Staring
like
at
2
the
minutes. Yeah, and it's just the
Yeah.
fastest way you can do it. It's so boring. So it'd be cool if you could just like drop a snow pile in front of the furnace or something.
Oh, dude, yeah, that would be interesting.
Snow.
Imagine.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Next we got is that the best tick manipulation methods, and really all of them that we have been like happy accidents in that they weren't developed to be tick manipulated, and it was just kind of invented or discovered by the players. So do you think that they will be able to intentionally develop something on a similar do you think they will be able to surpass the quality of high intensive skilling methods that we already have in the game by intentionally developing it as opposed to accidentally doing so?
It would be very interesting to see them try because I don't think they really have tried something like this before.
No, it is like the first of its kind. So I'll give them that from a creativity standpoint.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know the details of what it would look like because like just intentionally adding some item that creates a tick cycle without any explanation It just seems weird. Like the existing tick manipulation is obviously a bug. They've decided to leave it in the game because players like it. But adding something into the game that accomplishes a similar purpose without sort of a reason or lore or some way to explain it, why it fits into the world, it just seems strange to me. And I guess I just wonder what their plan is in general, like what skill and what is it going to look like, because we already have a lot of options for tick manipulation.
Gnome cube.
Yeah, like if it's just going to be a left click 3 tick, let's just cringe. Like, don't bother.
Yeah, for real.
I think it'll be very hard to do so, because I think that's kind of the awesome thing about it, is that they've been all kind of like on accident and like player discovered, and just the way that the game mechanics work, it is, you know, whether you're looking at like Hunter for like 1 tick chins, or like even like crafting for like fucking banking for like the cycles for getting that started. But like, you know, 2 tick woodcut, 1.5 tick woodcut, like 1 tick harams, the 2 tick 3 tick fish, 3 tick 4G for granite. Like there's a lot of like, and it's kind of like fitting for the amount of effort that you're putting in for the amount more XP that you get out of it. So I think it'll be very hard.
I do not think that they will be able to create pieces of content without like, and maybe if they work with skillers on this and like to create a piece of content that is intentionally has a tick manipulation as a part of it. But I don't think they're gonna be able to do it by themselves. I don't think they can do it.
I agree with everybody for the most part, and just kind of want to give a little bit of an example for anybody that maybe doesn't quite understand it as much. But I think if you look at for example, which is obviously something that's brought up all the time, it's a beautiful piece of gameplay, obviously. There's a lot you can do with it, but then nowadays, if you look at things like some of these new DT2 bosses, I'm not going to sit here and say they're bad, but they're very cookie cutter, meaning there's not a ton that you can do with the methods that are available, and that is quite my fear with some of these new skilling methods that they might be trying to even recognize. Obviously, like I said, I agree with everybody else as far as like the happy accidents, quote unquote, but I also want to say I wish they would more try to steer away from looking at, like, for example, 3 tick 4G rates, and kind of try to aim the XP rates more downwards to, mainly incentivize that those rates aren't necessarily something we're developing. That's a little outside of like, what the XP rate should be. And I think that would kind of bring a little more balance back into the game. But anyway, that's kind of a little bit getting more off topic.
Sorry.
I think it's very telling how I think a lot of skillers see stuff like mining and I don't know, like swordfish and like teaks, shit like that, as like some of the best like skilling methods in the game. I know barb as well is really liked by a lot of people, like cutties or just even normal 3-tick barb. I think the fact that what people see as the best skilling content was an accident is very telling, and I think Jax would probably fail to make something as fun or as like, I don't know, special as the ones we have right now. But that's just me.
I think they do a really good job with PVM stuff. I think they do a really good job with PvP stuff. Their questing updates are solid.
Dude, like Drag said, like by far the most in-depth. Like, I mean, in-depth is wrong. I think how like Ulm is a really good example. I didn't even think about it like that, but like any boss in the last 3 years, no matter who you're watching like doing it, it's gonna be pretty much the exact same strat. maybe a couple of new weapons thrown in there when the new weapons get updated. But there's so many different ways and different mechanics about shit in Ulm, some TOB bosses too, that just like that like magic and the updates is kind of lost nowadays. I feel like a lot of PVMers nowadays just like play the old content because they don't like they don't like the new one. I know I definitely got bored with stuff like TOA and shit way faster than I got bored from TOB and Chambers and Inferno and shit like that. I think just in general, not only for skilling but for PVM as well, there's like a certain aspect of it that like maybe not a lot of people are realizing is gone, but like because obviously the PVM community or whatever is like bigger than it ever was right now. But I think there's a certain like aspect of the game that just isn't being made anymore as it used to be, which is kind of sad to see. But it's just my opinion.
It doesn't feel like it's intentional, but like especially with TOA, as you said, like the only things past, like they're the intentional mechanics that they've added, but besides that, what is there? There's like
Red
X.
X? Yeah,
Red
X.
Red X
Skull Skip maybe?
Skull Skip and then Butterfly, and that's like that's it. There's no more.
Yeah. And Red X is a horrible thing because the only reason people prefer it compared to doing the boss normally is because it has unavoidable damage in like a otherwise really easy boss.
Exactly.
It's just like you just take so much damage to the point where if your indication is high enough, you're not gonna be able to do the raid if you don't Red X.
You know what else oh sorry, my bad. You know what else I don't like about some of those methods nowadays too is, like I said, they're so like there's not much you can do with them. Like whereas Ulm before, I mean, I used to enjoy going to somebody's streaming chambers just to see what their acid running style was. I mean, there's so many different ways you could run acid, for example, and different things in that raid. I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole style aspect is kind of missing anymore too.
Yeah, crabs. Yeah.
How has Chambers changed? Not like they just updated it this week. We're not going to be talking about it on the pod, but like, have you watched people doing it with the new changes?
I
don't think they've been out long enough yet. Personally,
it seems like they're just doing more of like the streamlining the whole piece of content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
Everything from scavs is stackable now.
I was thinking of doing it, but once I saw that they were going to be making like a massive overhauls to it, I decided not to attempt to learn it until after that update came.
I mean, the raid is still the same raid. It's just like they've like changed chambers in pretty much like, you know, all the newer raids, even TOB to an extent. You would get a certain amount of points, you buy what you want. It's very similar. Every run, supply wise and like how the raid goes is pretty similar. But which in chambers a lot of the stuff was more RNG based, like the stuff you get from scavengers, how certain bosses would like react, like the RNG elements in certain bosses that were, you know, just RNG stuff basically. It's just kind of gone now, which is, I mean, I think a lot of the updates are pretty good, but then again, it's also like 7 years too late in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
holy shit, Tebow is 1.5 bill.
Yeah. Also, like one of the things that like really surprised me is when they added the bank to like the chambers, like inside of like the lobby. Like if you're starting a raid now, there's like a little like, you know, scouting area basically, and there's like a bank there now, which is insane. That's something that people would have wanted
from,
like really
the tent
badly.
that was outside.
No. Like in the raid, before we start the raid, there's like a bank in the little thingy. So back in the day, if you're like an Iron Man or whatever, and you're doing a solo raid, you would either need an alt to like hold the raid for you to like bank your pickaxe or stuff that you don't need for that specific layout, or you'd like just bring everything with you just in case you got on one of the rooms, you know. But now you can just like bank accordingly, which is really cool. Same with this was years ago at this point, but they made it so that when you leave a raid, you get all your spec and your run and your prayer and whatever back, which back before that wasn't the case. You would like need an alt to spec transfer you into like avenge other you and stuff at the chambers bank, because you wouldn't get your spec back before you went back into like the next reset or whatever at Tecton. But they're making a lot of QL changes in chambers, which is cool, but it's just so late, which makes me kind of confused about it. But I'm not gonna complain about that stuff. Very cool to see.
Okay. So getting back then on the intensive skilling stuff, one of the topics I got is what is your favorite intensive skilling method?
Definitely granite. I don't know. I haven't tried. Like, I haven't really given enough time into like 1.5 tactiques or whatever to know whether or not I prefer that. But I really like granite at the moment.
Yeah, granite is nice. It'll always hold a special place for me. I think, like setting aside the skill itself, I like mining more as a skill and found it more fun competing in. But I think actually I prefer eat cut barb fishing just as a method. It's like, I don't know, I find it a little bit more like relaxed, but still like satisfying at the same time. So that's probably my favorite high APM method that I've done before.
Probably lavas. I think lavas are pretty cool. I think both like solo or duo or even with like forerunners or whatever. I think they're all very cool methods, and especially the last couple of years, people have been making a lot of improvements and stuff too, which is always cool to see. I know Zunkra, so like a couple insane records of like 6 hours and shit like that. He ended up getting like, I think this was like 310k or something per hour on average, which is like insane. Because
Shout out to Sebi who beat it. Then shout out to Enjoys who beat it after that.
damn,
Didn't
I know.
Enjoys use 5 runners?
Oh my God.
No way. I mean, I don't know, but either way, I think lavas is a very cool thing. It's a very OG method, and it's cool that it's still the best XP, even though it's changed a little bit with like the new patches and stuff, and the new ring of what is it? The elements? Yeah, I think it's very cool.
My most favorite intensive skilling method is probably VM. No, I'm just kidding.
Intensive, brother.
Oh, it's pretty fucking intense in here. No, mine's probably 2-tick fishing. I don't know. I really like that method. I think that's my play after mining anyways, is to do a lot of 2-ticking.
That'll be fun. 2 for me is going to be runecrafting lavas with 4 runners. And then also 2-tick woodcutting.
I kind of have similar ones to everybody else, but I did just kind of want to shine some light on. I actually really like GE fire making. Ultimately, though, my favorite is going to be 3-tick cut eat barb fishing, but I am kind of curious how much I'm going to like 3-tick 4G after I'm actually using an infernal axe, because my fucking wrist right now with the Varrock body, and don't even get me started if I throw on the ring and shit. It's just murdering me after a fucking day of that shit. So the infernal axe, just, you know, incinerating it, I think will make it a lot more maintainable.
Yeah. All right. Also part of the game jam, they're looking at adding a new skilling activity. It's called the Rapids Harpoon Fishing. They state it is a more intensive version of normal harpoon fishing, where you move around and react swiftly to get a catch. Based on what they said, this sounds identical to minnows, but certainly I'm very ignorant. What do you think about this as a concept? And does fishing already have too much? Because I mean, I feel like it does. Like, when they added in the Temporos, I think that was fine to be added in. Giving it that there's so many different ways that you can fish. You can AFK it. You can AFK barb. You can cut eat barb. You can do 2 ticks for fucking 2-tick harpoon fishing. You can do the minnow fishing. You can do that Karambuan mega AFK fishing. There are so many different ways to fish that I don't think that fishing needs more to it. And based on what they described, I don't know. Sounds like minnows to me.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I don't think we need another fishing method at all. And it's when they say the moving around and reacting swiftly, it makes me think of like Temporos with the 2 times fishing spot or whatever. I don't know. I don't enjoy that very much.
I don't really think we need any more of this stuff, honestly. Like, until they introduce something to me that like actually, wows me and like makes me excited. Like, I'm not really gonna be excited for anything they introduce like this because of kind of similar to, whether it's any other skilling updates they've done or PVM related stuff. I mean, it's not that it's terrible, but it seems like it's just an unnecessary thing. Like, it's just filling content to fill content in a sense, so people think there's new stuff coming into the game.
I don't know, I think fishing is in a pretty good place. There is a lot of stuff. There's like 2 pets you can get fishing. There's aerial fishing, which wasn't even said by Randy, which is another method as well. I mean, like, there's already so many multi-skilling because Barb gives agility and strength. Aerial fishing gives, I think it's hunter and fishing, and so does drift net. I think fishing is in a pretty good place. It might be like, also we got the fish barrel recently, which means you can just have like double as much per inventory. I think fishing is pretty much just like a Redwoods V2 at this point. So you can just sit at Barb pond for like 2 minutes at a time and you bank and repeats. It's pretty in a pretty good spot. I'd like to see them do something new for Hunter instead, which I think they are planning to do with Varlamore and stuff, but more on that later, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, I don't really the concept, like, sure or whatever, but it doesn't really mean anything until they tell us, like, it's going to be X number of ticks for a roll at this or whatever. Like, tell us the details or show us an example. Saying that we need to move around and react swiftly just doesn't really mean anything. And the idea of like having to react, I think, doesn't really sound fun. It kind of reminds me of Giant's Foundry, which like you're just kind of staring at your screen and then have to click on the right tick, or maybe you have like a 2-tick window, but most of the time you're just not doing anything, which is, I think, just the worst kind of content because it's a combination of boring and annoying. Like, it's not interesting or engaging, but you still have to stare at the screen. So I really hope it's not like that. And it does sound very similar to Minnows. I don't know. I don't really think we need more fishing content, but I feel like most likely what it's going to look like is just like medium APM for like 80k XP an hour.
Jeez. That would be wild.
Because I think if they...
Oh, sorry. When we were talking before, there's also drift net.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, there's so many different fishing methods for different purposes. If you want to play hard, we got it. If you want to play medium, we got it. If you want to make money and get supplies, we got it. You want to AFK,
You don't want to
play. Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like someone was just fucking around and didn't have an idea, and they were told that they needed to come up with an idea for Game Jam, and that was what they came up with. I'd be curious to know if this person that is designing this has spent more than 4 hours in their career doing minnow fishing.
I don't know. I do think there is, in like fishing especially, because it's like a supply you use in like all aspects of the game. It would be cool to have more of like a like GP oriented like skilling method. I think those are very cool. Brings like a lot of the newer players, especially into skilling. I remember that's why the only reason I did fletching when I was like super new to the game, as I was stringing bows for like a couple hundred KGP an hour, which back then was like not that bad, but nowadays it's like, nothing. Even back then in like 2017, a couple hundred K an hour was pretty bad, but compared to like now, that's like legit nothing. So maybe some more stuff like the Zura skill fishing and the lava, what are they called, lava shard, lava skill.
Eels.
Yep, yeah, like that kind of stuff would be cool. More like GP oriented and slow rates might be interesting.
Something that would be pretty much like focused on like for alts.
Yeah, maybe like alt stuff, like newer players trying to get some GP while skilling. That could be cool. I just don't think we need another like pretty good XP rates fishing method. There's so many of them in the game already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say fishing's probably in a really good spot right now. To me, it Seems like it would just be dead content, really. Like, who does minnow fishing other than bots and a UIM, maybe? Like, Iron Men, I'm pretty sure get, like, most of their food and all that crap from, like, PVM, do they not? Or they just fit AFK, like, per bonds.
Yeah, you'd be doing, like, Konar Slayer and everything. You got enough for everything.
Just a new spot for the bots to go to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not really needed.
Okay. Additionally, oh geez, I'm fucking up my timestamps. Additionally, they want to add a skilling encounter, the Mudboi, and it is spelled OI at the end. I have no idea what to even draw from the description that they gave on. You guys can read more on the Game Jam thing if you're interested in it. But it says that it blends themes and mechanics of mining and PVM-oriented mechanics where you mine pillars to start a fight. They've updated mining like 37 times already this year. Also, based on that description, like, of blending themes and mechanics of mining and PVM-oriented mechanics, like, does this not sound like Zalcano? Like, I mean, to be fair, I've never done it, but it sounds like it from what I've heard. I don't know what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I
Excited for
also
something
haven't
like this?
done Zalcano, but the concept sounds pretty much the same. Like, it just sounds like mining skilling boss, which I thought that's what Zalcano is. I don't know. It doesn't excite me personally, but once again, barely any specific information, so yeah, not much to say.
Yeah, you lost me at the name there. Bunch of morons. That's all I have to say.
What the? I mean, I do get the Zalcano like comparison. I think Zalcano is more of a boss with mining teams and like a mining mini game with boss teams. Though I feel like the rate at Zalcano for mining is like very low. I think it's like 10 or 20k an hour or something. I think it's
Makes money though.
yeah, it's pretty much just like a thing that like venues do and bots and stuff, as far as I know. But I mean, it's like you get the crystal tool seed from it for like the axe and the pickaxe and stuff, which I don't know. I just don't really know where they're going with this one. They might like, I don't know. There has to be some other skill that they can make some kind of bossing thing for. Basically, I feel like mining, or I mean, you could argue VM is also comparable, because there's like guys attacking you trying to like, I don't know. And then we also have Zalcano, so I don't know. I think it's just like, could be cool, but we don't know enough to really like care. I feel like.
Yeah, there's such little information given, and the information that has been given, like, that's why, yeah, like, my immediate thought is this sounds like Zalcano 2. But I don't know, like, I mean, we'll see how it goes. You know, with it being some kind of mining. Hey, how much do people make per hour at Zalcano right now?
I think
There's no way it's more than like a couple
dude, I think the
per
two
hour.
short's like fucking expensive as hell right now because the feeling axe, or it's called felling axe. I think that actually like skyrocketed recently.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
So
But aside from that, not that crazy.
So I just went to like the OSRS wiki, and it is like, I don't know if 13 kills an hour is what they just assumed, but like that was kind of the default that popped up for me. If it's 13, oh, it says if
That
it's
sounds right for like small team.
yeah, if it's 13 kills an hour, you're getting about 1.5 mil per like GP per hour.
Yeah.
Terrible. It's more than I was thinking.
You know, with all the skilling stuff that they're talking about and wanting to do, I feel like, you know, they're trying to come up with like different methods or a different intensity. What I would like to see is make skilling profitable again. You know, like, gone are the days when the best moneymaker in the game was double runecraft and nats. You know, I'm not saying that we need something super like, okay, all right, the 1.5 mil an hour from Zalcano with how crap mining XP it is. Okay, 14k mining XP per hour. I'm talking something like you know, although I hate Sepulture and what it did to the skill and everything, like that makes money. You know, like how about some kind of like what is rune mining rocks per hour?
Gotta be like
Underworld.
really low.
300k maybe.
Like
Not for
No,
not.
you mean
Mm.
GP?
GP, yeah. I mean they
Over
maybe like it says right here like 700k an hour. If you,
But
I
dude,
don't
like that's assuming you find the spot because like a lot of the spots are camped by bots and shit.
I
Now.
don't know,
Yeah.
like I'll just use that as an
Thank
example.
for
Like,
that.
I like they don't need to be coming out with like tick manipulation methods or more AFK or more high intense. Like, how about just come out with different methods for the skills, but they actually give profit because there are no methods of any skills that actually profit.
I
Hunter
think
aside,
that though is more of an
Yeah.
issue of how many PVM drop tables contain all these skilling items rather than the
Yeah.
skilling methods not being profitable.
Yeah, they ruined gathering or like gather skilling by just spamming items out of every single PVM update.
yeah,
But things like gem mining, for example, I think is like sort of decent GP per hour, given that it's also close to 120 HP.
it's like 110 ish.
Over a mil per hour.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see more stuff like that, like with gathering skills, where you actually make money by like gathering resources, and if you play efficiently, then you just gather them faster and still make money.
Yeah, that's the route I think that if they're wanting to make skilling updates should be where they aim towards. Because I think that's the sweet spot that's not really tapped into much with the state of the skills.
Encourages it encourages exploration too, which I like.
Yeah. Moving on, we had the Varlamore activities and Kurend changes. So one of the things they're going to be doing is a new agility course aimed at players between 57 and 70 agility. There's also a prayer activity, a low intensity mining method similar to the Tears of Gothics, another mining update, by the way. And a thieving activity. A note that they make is, please note that none of these new skilling activities will bring in the best XP per hour within the game, but they will be competitive against current methods elsewhere. So to give like a little summary on it, I know it's a lot, but the agility activity reward gives some bone shards that are stackable item, which is used in the prayer training, and another graceful recolor. Make it great again. Give us the original. There's a prayer activity, which overall they said overall we're looking at to set the XP of each bone slightly higher than the gilded altar, but be aware that XP per hour will be lower if you're not bringing bone shards gathered from elsewhere. And then the mining activity is low intensity and gives bone shards. Maybe that's like what their ideal star mining alternative would be. I don't know particularly. And then the thieving one, a lot of bullshit. They state, we're looking at having rates slower than stealing artifacts, but you should get a decent amount of GP per hour, which slightly increases with higher levels. So there's certainly a lot, and I skipped or missed on a lot of the details. But from what you have read, seen, listened to, or know, what do you think about the activities for agility, prayer, thieving, mining? If they, and I would say for me, like if they change the mining activity thing, whatever this is, to some different form of star mining, and then make proper changes to star mining, I think that that's a better move in the right direction. I think that adding a different agility course that's aimed at players between 57 and 70, not a bad idea because, yeah, I mean, aside from rooftops, like I get it when people complain about agility and they talk about like the lower levels for it. I get it. There certainly isn't a lot of options for that. So I think that doing that is just fine. The thieving one, giving a decent amount of GP per hour, like that's the shit I'm talking about. Like that's where I think that the development hole is in skills, is to make skilling profitable again. I have some reservations about the prayer one though. I don't know. I think prayer is fine, although it is limited in the way that it is trained. but agility fine, mining potential good, thieving real good.
I don't know. I like the idea of I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing for them to add like a new agility course or whatever the training method may be. I think early on there are too many good options. The prayer, I don't know. I feel like that's just not going to be used by anyone unless people make like a Varlamore locked accounts or something. Mining, I don't know. That one's just, they're just adding more AFK, pointless. But maybe, as you said, if they like change stars because of that, that could be a good thing. I just don't think it's something that mains will participate in. Did they say whether or not the bone shards are going to be tradable or not? I'd assume not, right?
I don't remember seeing anything on if it is or isn't. I'm not sure, actually.
And aren't bone shards like the things from like the skull scepter? Or am I?
Yeah, I also thought that.
They're called bone fragments, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah, my
Oh
bad.
shit.
much the same
I
thing.
thought of that immediately though. Very similar.
So I don't know about the bone thing. Like, isn't that like kind of Fossil Islandy? I don't know though. I don't know how like. Whatever. I don't know.
I'm a little skeptical on the agility. I'm kind of with Randy though. If they were to bring back the old graceful, fuck man, you might be able to convince me of just about anything if that's available. I can't say I'm against the prayer one. However, like a lot of people saying, it's just probably not going to be used by a lot of people, which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad thing. I was going to bring up, I'm still kind of developing my opinion on this as time goes on, but I do think I kind of like the AFK aspect of like, say I'm on my phone and I'm getting like piss poor rates, but the things I get are actually being used when I have time to play the game. I kind of think I'm liking that. I'm a huge backer of Dale. Obviously, I always talk about that, but so if that's kind of the way they're going with this, I think it's fine. However, I think it's a shame that they keep kind of adding what seemingly everything to mining when it comes to this stuff. Kind of would be interesting to see if maybe, I don't know, this is getting just kind of like a brainstorming thought, but maybe like something like crafting or something like just, and I'm not even saying like that's the right one, but just something different than mining. So I don't feel like every AFK downtime thing I need to do now is mining. But I don't know. Again, everybody plays a little differently. And then thieving. Yeah, I can't say I'm too against that as long as the rates are good. I'm a little skeptical on what their definition of slightly lower is. But I think the GP and if there's anything in skilling that can produce GP, I think that's a great thing as long as it's done in the right way. So overall, yeah, I think most of this stuff could be done pretty well.
All right. Yeah, agility I think sounds good. There's like the Canifis course is pretty terrible. Most of the rooftop
is
courses
bad.
are pretty terrible, honestly. So something else in that level range, as long as it's designed well.
Can I jump in real quick? Polybin fucking sucks.
Oh yeah, fuck that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should just delete rooftops. Like all of them were just developed when they had like one JMod, and they're just really poorly designed. Prayer activity, don't really care. Prayer is just like kind of an irrelevant skill. Mining, I don't want any more low intensity mining content, so not a fan of that. And thieving sounds good. I think thieving is lacking in good content, especially given that like spam clicking will just get you like 0.8 EHP. It's kind of a shit skill right now, so something new and interesting and profitable would be cool to see.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm kind of against. I think multi-skilling is like not very cool in general. I think multi-skilling is like pretty lame, seeing as a lot of the. I mean, I don't know about in this case, but the biggest example I go to when I think of multi-skilling is Driftnet, and I think Driftnet like entirely ruined two of the best skills in the game. I think Black Chins is like, in my opinion, the like most in-depth like electic minute method in the whole game, because of like the whole like variability of where like which Shinchomp is gonna go into the trap when and shit like that. And I don't know, it's like there's no point to even do it anymore ever, because Driftnet's just the thing. It ruined all of Hunter and most of fishing. But like aside from the multi-skilling thing, I guess it seems cool. Prayer is kind of a lame skill. I don't mind them like making prayer like kind of intertwined with agility, I guess. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but prayer is like even if you want to get like 99, it's like a 6-hour skill, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference to me. And like mining, I don't know why they're making so much mining activities. Like everyone else has been saying, I feel like they're heavily targeting mining, and the entire Duke thing that happened a couple of months back was I kind of just wanted to stop touching mining at this point. Just leave it as it is. Yeah.
Hooba.
Oh shit, my bad. I think the agility thing, I guess sure, why not? I don't think that really matters, but I would imagine Sepulchre's always just the best thing to do even at low levels. The prayer thing.
What level
Just
can you
kinda
start
seem-
doing it at?
50 something, no?
It's
Yeah, I think it-
52 for Sepulchre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's like 5 floors, and they're all 10 levels apart, from 52 to 92.
And I'm pretty sure it's just the best XP rate to do it always.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Like prayer, I don't think it really needs anything. But
Maybe go for like Iron Man, maybe.
yeah, for an Iron Man, maybe. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Isn't Fair already like mostly 0 time from that fucking spell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess having more options is like never a bad thing, but
That means there's
And
going to
then-
be less Iron Man to victimize at the altar, bro.
Yeah, true. That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
And like mining, like I don't know. I don't know, I've been in VM for like almost a year now just doing this skill, and like I was mining stars on my alt just because I was too lazy to bring it into VM with me. And the amount of people that are there is just insane. Like just like seeing the people typing there, how long they've been there mining is just like you could just be at VM, like if you're that lazy, and just be, you could have been done months ago probably or whatever. So I don't know. Mining doesn't really need anything. But what do I know? And then the thieving, I don't know. I've never done artifacts. Thieving is just kind of an AFK thing to me. Just gem knights or whatever.
Yep.
Whenever I'm burnt or can't be fucked to do anything else on the game, I just go to gem knights. But I guess if it makes a little bit of money, maybe Iron Man will do it or something. I don't know if they need money or not. So, sure, why not?
Okay. So I took out questions that we're going to be talking about the Scurrious Rat King, just because it's they called it like a mid-level PVM. I just didn't feel like we should really go over it. Fuck it.
Yeah, it seems really boring. I don't blame you.
Yeah. I kind of thought, like, when they talked about that boss, they were going to release a free-to-play boss, which would have been relevant for me, but it's not free-to-play, so it's just not interesting.
Yeah. But
Sure.
sorry. They had one post as well. It was just wrapping up Forestry. And it was that now that Forestry is complete, we've decided to reevaluate the content as a whole and address some of your biggest bugbears. For the most part, we feel that Forestry has achieved its goal of making woodcutting a more social and engaging experience. But we've heard your concerns and recognize that there are still a few changes we could make to ensure Forestry feels right. To clarify, this is not Forestry Part 3. But, I mean, that was kind of their self-evaluation of Forestry. But you can talk about a little bit about what was your experience with Forestry, you know, wrap it up. Hopefully we don't have to talk about Forestry again. But give us something that, you know, from your experience, if you participated in it, give us something good, give us something bad. What's your take? Your final take on Forestry.
Well, I did a lot of Forestry on my free-to-play account when it came out, so I only did the 2 events then, and it was, you know, there's like a ton of people on World 301 in free-to-play at Draenor, at U-Trees, and the XP rates were really insane on release. Like, at first people were doing like world hop scouting and getting like upwards of 200k XP an hour in free-to-play, which was like double EHP. And then they nerfed that, and then people were still getting, I think, like 150 or something, just like running around in the same world. And that like reduced once they made some more changes, and also just fewer people were doing it. So now it's actually like really not even very good, especially in free to play, because I'm pretty sure that the free to play spawn rates of events are bugged, so that they spawn a lot less frequently than pay to play. So now it's like not even really that relevant EHP wise, but it's still just like a bit of free woodcutting XP basically. The only thing I would say that was good about it is that it was kind of fun to like woodcut with some of the other HLC free to play players when it was first coming out. But I really don't like anything about it. The only like content wise thing that I think is fun is the sapling event is kind of fun to optimize, because there's a lot of different stuff you could do with movement to specific tiles to like save a tick each time you deposit or whatever. But most of the events I think are just like insultingly simplistic, like color matching or like pattern matching or just clicking on the shiny thing. It just seems like so childish, and I think it's kind of embarrassing. And I really don't like that they changed tree mechanics the way they did. And in general, I think the whole update was unnecessary, and I wish it didn't happen.
Me personally, I haven't really done much Forestry. Or any actually at all. I don't think I've done a single Forestry related thing ever. But I've seen a lot of friends doing it. We're just walking around like the map sometimes, and I see like something going on that I'm confused by, and I'm like, oh yeah, Forestry came out. But I don't know, it seems like I don't mind the whole like idea of having like the social woodcutting whatever, but like I don't know, I kind of thought like, and this might seem kind of stupid, but like back when I was like really like mid level in the game, like I was like 60 70 woodcutting or something, or like early on, and the woodcutting guild was so cool because there were just like 10 people cutting the magic or the magic trees or the yew trees. You just like talk with them, and that was like that's perfect. I think having there be like hundreds of people makes it like, it's like Wintertide kind of, like it's not even social. It's like you see some guy just like 100 people typing at once, like you're not really having like a conversation or anything at like Wintertide or at Forestry.
Yeah,
You know?
and free to play, it's just like spam bots. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Do you ever think
And I
there's
can
been an
imagine
intellectual discussion being had at Wintertide?
No.
Maybe at the north side. I don't know about those two, though.
Good answer. Holy shit, that was funny.
Oh fuck.
But
Oh,
I think oh man, my bad. I think the Perry colors are pretty cool. I never have anything against more like cosmetic options for shit like that. I think it's always cool. The new outfit looks kind of stupid in my opinion, but I know some people
Agree.
like it. But yeah, I think the cosmetics look pretty cool. I like the fox pets. I like the pheasant. Is it a pheasant? Pheasant? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But extra content itself, it's just like a woodcutting mini game. It's like whatever, I guess. I think the feeling is it felling or felling axes, I think it's called. I think that was a little weird that they made that. Like you would think they would only make like a thing that would help woodcutting in forestry itself. Like for example, how in VM when you get like 10k points or 20k points, you can buy like the big water jug that only helps you in VM. I assumed it would be similar to that, where like, oh, you can unlock a forestry like base upgrade. Like, oh yeah, you get more whatever forestry points or something. I don't know. I don't know how forestry works, but it kind of changed woodcutting entirely, which is a little weird in my opinion. But aside from that, like the cosmetics are cool. You're not forced to do it or anything if you just want to woodcut normally, which is cool. I was kind of afraid we were gonna have to do some kind of forestry bullshit to woodcut at all, but you don't, so it's fine. I was really scared about the teas as well. If you guys remember, they were like pitching the tea that would like boost your.
That tea was gonna be so fucked.
Yeah, it was gonna be.
Get more clues if you drink your tea.
Yeah, I'm just glad that wasn't added.
Yeah.
Like all things considered, I think we got through forestry pretty unscathed.
Yeah, the tea thing probably would have ruined it, and more so than every other like element of forestry combined.
Yep.
Keep it. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, my bad. You can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I actually agree with Blade for the most part, so I'll keep my answer pretty brief here. But like, I just don't understand why that wasn't a mini game. It's just weird seeing it all around the game. Other than that, though, I don't like some of the buffs to like the eggs that it did, and then just obviously the axe in general is random. But kind of going back to like why I quit my other account, basically my Iron Man, because of aspects like this, but just zero, understanding of like how some certain things are going to affect things. That evil chicken outfit was like one of the longest term lasting things you could get in the game, and now it's just a joke.
What happened?
Crazy.
The evil chicken?
Just the time it used to take, even with bird runs, was significantly longer. And again, I mean, I'm obviously a little biased when I say this because I like weird ass shit like that, but it just sucks that it went from unnecessarily unobtainable to like completely obtainable. Maybe there was a little bit of fine tuning there that could have been done, but I mean, dude, like you can get that thing done in no time now if you want it.
Yeah.
Oh, that one to Dan. Guy's struggling out there.
Yeah, except if you're Dan Gleesack, that's true.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't really think about forestry, any good experience I've had with it. I did like AFK use on my alt because they're basically like redwoods with forestry mechanics. I did that. I don't know, I didn't particularly enjoy it. Just entity hider, chat off. My favorite type of social skilling. And then something bad that happened. Oh, I lost like 60 HP overnight. That was not fun. Woke up. I wasn't happy about that. But
Wait, what happened?
Oh,
did they like? Because the rate changed. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. I feel like you pretty much have to choose now whether you hate woodcutting more or fire making, which is like weird, but interesting choice to make, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things that we had happen in the last couple of weeks was the old school RuneScape hitting over 200,000 players online on November 19th. Might have been like 208K, 204K, somewhere around there. nearly 5 years to the day that old school RuneScape hit over 100k players for the first time. So, what do you think about the game peaking nearly 11 years in on that player count? Like, there has never been more people playing the game than right now. What a wild time.
Wasn't that during Twisted Leagues the first time? Or am I trolling? I don't remember exactly.
Honestly, I don't remember what it was. It might have been... No. It was mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Because mobile came out in like the end of October of 2018. And then that was then what popped it.
Yeah, and I think Twisted League came really close to that number again. So I was confused. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at it right now, like the highest peaks that we've had has been like the week after mobile came out. Well, that was 140k.
Some crazy peaks during COVID as well.
Yeah, so April of 2020 we hit. April of 2020 we hit 152k, and then in November of 2020, and then that slowly went down to where like peaks were like 110, and then in November of 2020 peaked up at 151k, and then come like July of 21 we went down to 71. But then, 6 months later, January of 2022, we were up to 138k, and then that went down to like 70s, 80s, and it kind of been slowly on a rise and like always above 100 for like more than a year. And then, looking at like the last month, we were floating around like 140s and stuff before hitting the November 19th, 204,000. I don't know. I think it's pretty wild that 11 years in and the game is peaking.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Like 5 years in, it was peaking. 11 years in, it's peaking.
It's weird though, because like I'm trying to think like what's the definition though of peaking? Because like, is it really like that many active players though compared to what it was in the past? I mean, I would assume majority of players online now are, with aside from the little boom that we had from leagues, are just AFKers or like mobile players. So,
Well,
I mean,
Also,
seriously,
the RuneLight 25-minute thing as well is very, very important.
Yeah.
I feel like, as well.
there's certainly a lot. There's a lot of things juicing the numbers, which
I think it's to do with I don't know if you guys know, but I think like I don't know how fucking businesses work, but the guys who own Jags are trying to sell it for like $1 billion. So
yeah,
it makes sense for them, like them trying to hype up the game and then sell it for like more, or like trying to like make it seem like it is more hype than it actually is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that's a little disingenuous in saying that it's more hype than it actually is, because like those players are still online, like they're still paying money,
course, but,
from the financial aspect.
I'm not saying like
they're doing what they can.
They're like I'm just saying like they're trying their best to like get everyone like as riled up about the game as possible to then which makes sense. That's how business works.
I'll say from a business standpoint, they're doing a phenomenal job.
Yep. True. Also, I'm very glad MTX still hasn't been an OSRS in any like considerable way at all, or any way really at all. Still just bonds pretty much and like membership, which is very cool.
I want my damn Silverhawk boots.
Shit.
sometimes I almost wish they would more so just try to push player base with this type of like league stuff anymore, because like you know how much we always talk about how hard it is to change the current game we play in. I mean, if anything, I wouldn't mind seeing numbers just hit certain highs at different times of the year, and then seeing little bits of players dwindle into the main game, you know? And you'd kind of get the people that actually like the game too, but obviously the company's not really going to push that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Just weird because this game is so strange, you know? It's hard to really do anything with it.
yeah, they keep finding new ways to hit all-time highs. You know, some of it. Well, I mean, some of it you made it like some of it may be juicing it with like RuneLight plugins. Some of it may be like League, but like the players are online. The players are there. They're doing a great job with that as the goal.
Yep.
I don't know if the players are there. Their screens are definitely there. They're online.
I mean, that's what matters in,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Mhm.
As long as they're paying your membership or they're,
And-
interacting with the game, that's what matters, I think, now. So,
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah, I guess it's good to see that people are playing the game at face value, but there's a lot of jaded things I can say. Like, I think 50% of pre-leagues, I think 50% of the player base is bots or gold farmers. I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but it's just the number of bots you see everywhere is crazy. And so the numbers don't really mean exactly what they look like at face value, I don't think. And then of the active players, a lot of them are playing multiple accounts at the same time, especially for leagues. That doesn't really matter from the finance perspective, I guess, because yeah, I mean, all of the bots and gold farmers are either paying for membership or just driving up the price of bonds. But yeah,
Hold on. Bonds are over 10 mil now, by the way.
yeah.
Jesus.
No way. They went
I
over
wish they
10?
had like a counter of separate like devices or like IPs or shit. Like if they had a counter for like accounts and like like machines or whatever like they're on. You know what I mean? Like actual a way of seeing like the amount of like
unique players.
yeah instead of just the accounts.
Yeah,
Or
that'd
maybe
be
or
interesting
maybe
to
that's
see.
already how it is and we just don't know. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's not.
I mean,
Yeah.
we are still like the exception to the norm. Like most people only play on one account.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it takes one person with two accounts to make up as money as two people with one. So,
Yeah.
or if you're like Randy and have like 15 of them, then
That's me just being an asshole.
I heard you got a shard earlier, right?
I got two of them earlier in the podcast, and people will have heard DJ Khaled just fucking screaming. So
Another one.
I'm sorry for the ear blasts earlier, guys. Just both times you heard that, just imagine 5.3 mil hitting my bank.
Oh,
Half a
thanks for the
bond.
Heads up.
That's
No, I won't blow my own ears out with my own podcast.
All right. Moving on. This is a little bit of this is talking about. But a lot of people are crediting bots and multi-logging as the primary reasons for the player count. That was already written in. I didn't the multi-logging is for sure true, but looking at it from the multi-logging aspects, how many accounts do you typically play on at once?
I typically only play one myself, but occasionally I will play two. I don't know. I don't really think though that oh god, dude, I'm so sorry. I totally just lost my fucking train of thought on this. I don't know where my thought went. If you wanna, maybe circle back to me, I don't know where I went on this one. My bad, dude.
Yeah, I usually play like 2 to 5 accounts, depending on what I'm doing in game. I think, yeah, the multi-log definitely, even, I don't know, it feels like even more of the casual people, it seems like multi-logging is definitely not like people like playing alts or whatever, but like people playing their game and their main or whatever. It
Yeah,
seems like a lot
that's
of people
probably a
do
lot.
that.
leagues in main as well. Like there's so many people just like AFK and like Dale or Redwoods or some shit while they're playing leagues. It's like also a huge thing right now.
Exactly.
My thought's completely irrelevant, but really quick, I remembered. I was just gonna say, like, me personally, whenever I am trying to play the game, I try to do the most I can. Like, I would try to do, like, more multi-skilling, like, throwing some fletching or something like that with mining before I started trying to play another account.
Yeah, I mean, I play on like 14 accounts. Generally, if like I'm playing right now, and that's because I got them, all but my main perked. Sometimes I'm on my alt, I'm actually trying to max, but just kind of sitting, hanging out at Vires, AFK like 9 minutes at a time, with the 80 prayer and like max pray. So I'm looking forward to whenever the Fortis Coliseum comes out, and it comes out with that upgraded proselyte.
Oh hell yeah!
That could be the juice.
I'm excited for that.
I used to be really into alting on OSRS. I used to do a lot of Firewatch alting. But due to prices dropping and me just getting kind of bored with it, I'm very much someone who likes to switch stuff up. I started doing Spiritual Warriors on RS3. I don't know. I just play my main on old school. Maybe like an alt if the skill I'm doing requires it, or if I just feel like doing something on my alts. I play 2 on old school and 10 on RS3.
Oh damn!
But when I used to do Firewatches, I used to have like, I think it was 14 Fire alts, and then my main doing RC. Like Randy, I guess.
Do you like the Spiritual Warriors better than Vires?
I way prefer them. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like one of the biggest reasons for me personally is I don't have like, RuneLight is not. It's like a good program and everything, but it's not like as well optimized as RS3, especially in compatibility mode. Like running like 4 or 5 RS3 clients is like the same as one RuneLight, like usage wise of your computer and shit.
You can
insane.
really dumb it down. I don't know how much you've tried on it, like with the.
Yeah, I have, but I just don't have like a good PC at all. I have like 16 gigs of RAM and shit. Like if I would have all my Firewatch alts open and runecrafting, and like if I would like stream or something with OBS, my PC would just like crash. So but that was just probably just a me thing. But I do just prefer the RS3 alting in general. I've been enjoying learning about the game. It's been cool. Like
they're about the same GP an hour, right?
Nah, RS3 alts right now are like, or the Spiritual Warriors are like, right now I want to say about 550k an hour, or OSRS. And Firewatch, when I did Firewatch alting, I only ever picked up the shards. So when they were like 8 mil each, I was getting like 400k an hour. But with current prices, it's more like 250 to like 300, if anything. But I've always been a really big fan of multi-logging, especially for the more boring skills. I could not imagine doing like crafting or some shit, just like staring at my computer for like 1,000 hours, well, a couple hundred hours, just doing nothing. If I wasn't playing any other account or game or anything, I think it's a very cool part of the game.
Well, how many are you on?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted and I'm sitting there talking. I usually play on 2, just the main and the alt. I guess it just depends what I'm doing. Like for like the past bit I've been in VM, I've just been trying to max my 1 alt. I don't know. Don't really need to do that, but VM's pretty boring, so
Yep.
Perfect time to do it.
To do something.
I just play free to play and sometimes main account, and that's it.
What have you been doing on the main?
Just Redwoods.
Okay.
I did a lot of day alt earlier this year.
Ooh, how much you got?
Like 0.7 mil, I think.
How many?
2.7 mil.
Oh damn, that's like
Damn, you got a
lot.
stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for 4 mil and then just ZMI it to 200 mil, I think, eventually.
Fuck yeah.
CMI? How come? Oh,
It's
because
a
you want to
lot
focus
less
on the free to play.
shards.
Yeah.
It's really AFK.
I feel
If I like can be bothered, I actually think lavas are fun, so I'll do those. But
Yeah.
depends.
Dude, do you have the Colossal Pouch or no?
No, I need to do the mini game.
Yeah, that shit is AIDS. Good luck.
I'm
I got
doing
mine
on
like
my alt
10
right
days
now,
ago.
and it's fucking ass.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. I really wish you could just make
Buy
it
it.
with a normal needle or
I
something,
hear-
or like
I hear small teams aren't that bad.
bro, either way, like I don't want to do that shit, man. It's like
Yeah.
what is that minigame? Like
Yeah.
that minigame is the reason I took my first ever like official like break or quitting thing from RuneScape in like 2022. I was like just about to start my rune crafting grind, and then that shit came out. I was like, no, we're good. I stopped playing
Damn.
for like 3 months. Just
I
didn't
will
want
give
to
them
do that quest.
a little credit where it's due, though. They did make that rune crafting upgrade quite the pain in the ass to get, so good shit on their part for that one. Sorry, Hooba.
Should be buyable.
Yeah,
Agree.
I'd
Make
pay
it
100 mil
enjoyable,
for
bro.
it.
Iron Man exists for a reason.
dude,
I don't wanna
like
do that shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Dude, like imagine you could just like pay the guy like 50 mil to get the needle. That'd be so beast. Such a good
Like,
gold thing too.
I don't
So
know.
many people would do
I
that.
think there's just so many bots too. Like last night, like I'd do one game and the next 4 or 5 games in a row would fail. I was ready to fold my fucking keyboard in half.
Pest Control had problems like that before.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like really the only benefit of doing small teams is that they're probably not gonna fail like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Getting wrapping up to the end here. Let's give a shout out to a random RuneScape player.
I'll give a shout out to Swomi because he's actually playing the game again a little bit recently.
Yeah.
Really?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants me to leak, but yeah,
Old school or
We'll see.
RS3?
old school.
Oh,
That's cool.
Fog.
good for
Very
him.
cool.
All right. I would like to shout out Seb. It's time to put down the blow up doll and get 200 mil all, buddy.
He asked you for that shout out too, right?
Oh yeah. My DMs right now. I'm begging for it.
I should have thought about this. Can we loop back to me?
I'll give a shout out to Woo91. The UIM in Hexis, on his UIM, he surpassed the EHP that 200 mil all on a main is.
That's
Oh.
beast.
And keep
That's
it up.
my goal on my account.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Shout out RuneScape player. Probably Prisoner 852. He completed Desert Treasure 2 a couple weeks ago, trying to get, I think he bought a Fang or something, trying to get some GP. Big things coming from that guy. I wish him the best of luck.
I'm gonna shout out Boss Man Jack for just the endless hours of entertainment while I've been skilling lately, and I guess kind of shout out to Hooba, Lily, and Dan for reminding me that human being exists. Because yeah, good entertainment there, man.
Okay.
Shout out to TJ. He's a low.
All right. And then lastly, what have you been up to during the podcast and what are your current goals?
I've been doing granite, just doing some mining. My current goals are I finished Slayer the other like week or something, so I want to do, what is it? Mining and agility. Trying to finish up agility, not agility, sorry, prayer. Mining and prayer. I'm gonna try and finish up prayer by the end of the month, a couple hours a day. Should be pretty free, and then just mine for the rest of the month, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. During the podcast, I've just been playing on my Vire alts and killing Jad, just while doing like the little time stamping and updating the topic on screen type stuff. Current goals, well, since the last podcast, I got the mole pet, so I've got to
Dude.
got to find a new boss to start killing when I actually am gonna be playing the game. Haven't really been doing much. I've been like AFKing Jad and like killing Vires, even on like my main, as I've been playing like other games on the side. But for when I'm trying to play the game, I gotta find something new to do. So I guess my goal is to find a new boss. Any suggestions?
The
Darkness.
chompy pet.
Fuck that,
Arachnus.
dude. Darkness
Hell,
is like
big one. I got
Oh.
Sarachnis.
What,
The logout.
What about CG,
Zuck
bro?
pet.
You ever done any Gauntlet?
fuck that, dude.
I've seen people try.
Go God Wars.
Nibbler.
Load up
Out.
the alt, do some 1+1.
I was thinking about God Wars actually.
Maybe next, man. I mean, next is pretty good GP. If you want to save up some GP, you could like do that shit.
Yeah, I gotta get on that.
Probably get sub to
I think
Ichi.
think
Yeah,
Sebi
don't
used it.
get Seb to teach you. He's an asshole
Yeah.
there.
Oh my. Yeah, I was gonna say I think Sebi does a lot of next.
I could not imagine doing next with Sebi for some reason.
I'm gonna start doing it with him like after he gets 200 mil all.
Anyway, I'm always at day alt whenever I'm kind of chilling. My goals though are basically this month, or actually in a couple days, I'll be maxing the account I'm playing on. I'm then going to be for the rest of the month basically AFKing like day alt and stuff like that to speedrun a dragon trophy on leagues. And then I'm not gonna say like how much XP exactly, but I'm planning on doing a really big mining and rune crafting year in 2024.
Next.
Egg.
I've been doing flesh crawlers on the free to play and redwoods on the main. Not really any goals, just getting XP. Hoping I still have issues with my wrist right now, so I can only AFK. So I'm just hoping that that gets better over the next like few months, and I can actually like play the game a little bit.
I've been just VMing, making some money. My current goal, I would say I'm going for 200 mil mining.
Nice. When do you think you're gonna complete it?
It's I don't know, probably early 20, maybe like early springtime, sort of. Like I can speed up quite a bit, so maybe I'll be able to like get it done before spring, or in spring, sorry.
Okay. Good shit. All right, so that'll do it for Hexis podcast number 89. Next podcast, this is likely going to be the last podcast of 2023. You know, next week's definitely like too soon. The following week I'm on vacation. And it's incredibly difficult to schedule things around Christmas and New Year's. In the previous years, we were blessed with Chakul and Gingerbino putting together a highlight reel at the end of the year for us to release for Christmas. But we don't have that blessing that they were so generous to give to us. Game's going to be slowing down over the next month or so we shouldn't miss much. So that's going to do it for X podcast number 89. We'll see you, probably won't see you till January next year. See you guys.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Peace.
And a Happy New Year.